times where people believe that right is wrong and wrong is right. Everything that's good is bad, and everything that's bad is good. Living in a time where people no longer think logically, where everything is overly sensitized, where everyone has just broke ways with common sense. We're living in a time of illogical thinkers, where you can't call people out for their wrongs. If they belong to a certain group, you can't criticize these people. You're attacking their group. When someone is doing something wrong and they belong to a certain group of people, then instead of that being wrong, now it's you're attacking them. We're living in a crazy time where nothing makes sense.
It's called Babylon for a reason. It's all confusion. Like to say, call La Yahweh Bashim El Shah Bashim Kakadash. To the honest of the apostles of Ellsworth Millstone, peace, citation, hope for elect, Shalom. And the title of this lesson is going to be "This Society's Backwards." So, may title the lesson something to that effect. But without further ado, I'd like to bring out some scriptures. Got some precepts in mind. And it says, Isaiah chapter 5 verse 20, it says, "Woe unto them that call evil good and good for evil, that put darkness for light and light for darkness, that put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. Woe unto them that are wise in their own eyes and prudent in their own sight. Woe unto them that are mighty to drink wine and men of strength to mingle strong drink, which justify the wicked for reward and take away the righteousness of the righteous from him." Right. So the thing is that in this world, since there's a lot of things are so backwards, you got people that at one point they had loyalty was like let's say, that was like a good characteristic at one point. People actually upheld it, even amongst like, let's say, black culture, even in like gangs or whatever you call it, they upheld it to some degree. Even in the hood there was some loyalty at some point in time, but then it's like nowadays you could forget about that loyalty anymore, and then on top of it, it's like people are just very disrespectful. And this happened like later on in the 21st century, after social media started getting more advanced, with technology as well. People are starting to be more fake. You're starting to see the lack of authenticity. People aren't as genuine as they used to be. At least during the golden ages of social media, people were, like together. People still went out and did things, back in the time when MySpace was a thing, or, people would try to like video call on Uvu. Like that was all right back in those times, because like, let's say when the BlackBerry phones was a thing and Sidekick phones, people were at least a little bit, like together, and they were like social. They actually cared about bonding. At that time, people actually flexed, having day ones, knowing somebody for a very long time. People actually upheld that loyalty. Nowadays, it's like people just want to get with whoever could help them make money, whoever could help them have a good status for a little while. It's just fake. You don't feel the authenticity in that. So I'm just saying, like, if you don't want a better rulership, if you don't want Yahweh Shah to come back and rule, something gotta be fucking wrong with you. Cause you're already starting to see like these people, they're losing their morals, they're losing their sense of logic. People are becoming more irrational. Men are acting more like bitches, and biologically they'll be considered as men, but through the spirit they're acting like bitches, because of that Willie Lynch syndrome. And you see that amongst Jake a lot. You got a lot of bitch ass niggas, and even just amongst men of other nations as well, especially Esau. because he's the biggest bitch ass nigga. Because if anything, if Jake is the one that follows after the ways of Esau, it's pretty much because that's the consequences of the whole integration, of Jake basically learning after the ways of the wicked. That same shit Martin Luther King wanted to accomplish, having Jake and being raised up with Esau, having them together. And pretty much that's why he gave that quote saying that he led his people to burn the house, because that was the plan of the Rothschilds, to get Jake to intermingle with Esau, like to basically learn after their ways, learning after their culture, and it just messed us up as a nation of people. And basically black culture is a culture of death. That's basically all the ways of Esau pretty much being pushed upon you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Pretty much committing adultery, gang banging, being carnal as all hell, doing drugs, having your eye evil towards your own brother. All that shit come from Esau. Because even during the Garden of Eden, the sons of the wicked, they had different classifications of men. There was sons of God, the sons of men, and then the sons of the wicked, which were the lowest classification of men. And on top of it, you have it to where Cain and his descendants, they had to basically be separated, and they were wicked as all hell, as it tells you in the book of Genesis. But another thing too is like people that are fake, they seem to get so much respect, and the people that are real seems like they're going through it, they're being put through the ringer. You know what I mean? And it's like you really get nowhere being real. You may get some likes for some quotes that you mention on social media, some real shit that you mention. Sometimes you may get some sort of let's say support, and some people, I'll say, they are fucked up. Like some people are so fucked up that they say real shit like they're solid just to attract other people that are actually real, and then the whole time it's like they're just saying that just for attention, and they are not real them damn selves. They're just saying that for likes and clout, for you to just share it. You know what I mean? But then it's like they go and do a lot of fake shit. So you see, it's like people say shit that don't necessarily like the shit that they say, they think it defines them as a real person, but it's like they're just fake. Because it's like, why say those things to actually gain some sort of like approval from people that's going through some shit that agree with it, and then it's like when they get to know who you really are and find out about you, they have to see that, oh, you was just fake. Because like, why would you say some shit like that, and then you end up being the same person that you're talking shit about? You know what I'm saying? But that's just backwards ass society. And that's why it's like you don't ever get too interpersonal with people at all. And at this point, it's like, you gotta start using the friend associates more, and that whole calling people friends and shit like that, man. Like, man, that word is so obsolete at this point. The only time you're gonna have friends is gonna be in the kingdom of heaven, when Jake is in their right state of mind. That's when you're gonna have friends. But right now, it's like, I wouldn't even want to use that word. You don't know who's gonna switch up on you at this point. Even brothers in the truth, you never know. Some of them there's gonna be a few of them that might turn out to be Judas, and amongst a bunch. And it's like, I don't see what's the point in basically turning your back and being a Judas goat, because it's like, what are you looking back to in this world? You see the everything is fucked up as we speak. And as I speak, everything is messed up. The food, the water, the air, the entertainment. The women are fucked up, children are fucked up, even the men are fucked up, everybody's fucked up. The animals. Got all life forms on this earth that's all effed up. Everything on this third dimensional plane is fucked up as I speak. Because this devil Esau is bearing rulership of this world, and scriptures say what? That when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn, but when the righteous beareth rule, the people rejoice. Right. So this is why, we're more in that time where we gotta pretty much cry out for the Lord and do the most that we can to please the Lord, so that he could speed up time quicker than ever. Because you see, it's like you could never call out anybody for being fake. You know what I mean? Like, you can't call people out directly for their bullshit. People have it to where they treat you a certain type of way, they mistreat you, then they act like you're crazy when you lash out on them. You know what I mean? You got a lot of people who have alternate personality disorder, bipolar disorders, and they're sociopathic, and this is shit that you will have to see, in the course of being in their life. You know what I mean? Especially when they live in your fucking place, for a certain amount of time. They're just coming over just to chill, right? And let's say in your place you have certain procedures that go on in your place, that you set certain priorities or whatever. You have certain rules that go on in your place, and they call you their friend just to kind of break those rules. You know what I'm saying? To think that they get a special pass. And then they go from breaking one rule to breaking a whole bunch of rules, eventually. That's how scripture said, don't invite every man to thine house. So you got people out there that call you their friend, and then next thing you know, they sound like the sweetest people of all time. And there's a thing that Benjamin always say, a lot of Jamaicans will say, see me and come with me are two different things. You hear that amongst a lot of West Indians, and that's true, because it's like you don't understand the person that you're living with, you know what I mean? You don't understand the person that you're friends with until they live with you for a certain amount of time. You might see it within a few weeks, give it about a few months sometimes. And sometimes these could be the same people that are so manipulative, and they act like they deserve to get their ass kissed by you, and they try to make it to where they'll try to stage something and act like you did something wrong to them, and that how they need special treatment. Yeah, this could be the very same people that you help out, that will try to use whatever they can out of you and manipulate you, trying to make you think that that you owe them something when you brought them to their place, when you brought them to your place, trying to help them out from this situation. You know what I mean? And they figured that this is a perfect ways for them to disrespect you. You got a lot of wicked niggas amongst our people, bro. That's why I swear that judgment really has to be, amongst the Lord's people. And these be the same niggas that call themselves Israelites too. And I know somebody, I say from my personal experience, that was like that as well, and I had to cut his ass off. I was talking that real shit on social media. He ended up blocking me because he knew it. Those were subs that was aiming at him indirectly. Not like I tagged him and put out a photo about him and mention a big ass post or about some shit that he did. It was just posts I was mentioning back to back about certain type of people that you gotta watch out for, and certain type of people that you deal with in your life that turn out to be a certain type of way, no matter what you did for them. you know, because this nigga will be the type of nigga that he will find an excuse for every damn thing, especially for the fact that he got sick, and then knowing damn well that he got his own self sick, he want to blame people for it. You know what I'm saying? And if you get sick, it's a fucking problem. And it's like it from how other people made him sick to how I made him sick, when I'm the one that will usually, like, let's say if I get sick or whatever, I will heal myself quickly. And, you know, this is why I was attending college when I was like about to be finished. You know, I had him over there, and then he claimed that at some point in time, I'll say like he got me you know, sick or whatever the case is, because he would always ended up getting sick because this nigga, you know, he would go and smoke like, I don't know, 5 Black and Milds and smoke some weed, and then this is like every day, and then he would usually drink like 2 to 4 large twisted tea cans a day, you know. And he claims he's a vegan, thinking that that's, you know, a healthy lifestyle, and he's bugged out as all hell. And this nigga's straight up tatted like a Mexican, and he calls himself an Israelite, you know. And that's number one niggas that you have to watch out for the most, is the ones that call themselves Israelites. And he likes to talk a lot of real shit, and he sounds like he's positive and shit like that. And, you know, I feel like one big red flag was that he always go from his mom's crib to, you know, to other people's cribs, you know. But hey, man, you see, the funny thing is, like, you see, after I would get sick, I would heal myself quickly, but he would be the one with the sickness for like about a whole week and a couple of days and shit like that. You know, it would be stretched out on his ass because he just don't listen. You know, he kept saying that, oh, he gonna try some of the supplements, like the tea that I made in the house or whatever. And I try to ask him if he wants the tea, because like I would use like natural products, like I would use hot water, of course, and just put like lemon juice, lime juice, and honey, ginger, you know, in the tea or whatever, and use black pepper and cayenne pepper to kind of like build the antioxidants in it. And I asked him if he wanted it. He said, you know, if he wanted me to make him a cup, he said he not gonna drink it. And then he kept saying that, oh, he gonna do it some point in time. He's full of shit. You know, just to tell you, like, you know, some people that, you know, like him, call himself a close friend, you know, talking so much shit behind my back. Even his girl had to DM me, and I'm not the type of person that will want someone to, you know, DM me, but she was DMing me on social media, you know, on my Insta, and saying that how, you know, he talks a lot of shit behind my back or whatever the case is. I saw the first message, but she removed it, and then she gave me another message eventually, because she just decided to tell me, you know, straightforward, the type of nigga that he is, you know, and the type of shit he said behind my back, you know. Then after some point in time, he mentioned about how he wanted me to take care of my own place, and he wanted to leave or whatever, you know. And then he talking, trying to, you know, throw some shit in my face because he claimed I had him doing my work and shit, which honestly, he was the one making the mess. And I just told him, like, he got to clean up and do X, Y, Z. So I don't understand. And he was saying that shit under his breath in the bar. But, you know, I'm just glad that, you know, I cut that nigga off. And, you know, of course, he was the one that wanted to block me, because I wanted him to see whatever I was posting so he could get mad. So eventually he decided to, you know, block me about it. And don't want to have nothing to do with me. And I'm completely fine with that. And, you know, I hope the Lord, of course, you know, judge his wicked ass and, you know, make him suffer, you know, a famine and get hit by the missiles and get even tortured. Because most of the pain that you ever will face, like across, like dealing with wicked people, is dealing with your own people, and especially amongst your own people, bitch ass niggas, you know, like him. You know, there's some that's worse, and it's like all these things are the reasons why, you know, we're just vexed about this place. You even got people that are rappers that even rap about, you know, fake niggas. They even rap about, you know, dealing with certain type of niggas. Even the musical artists, you know, amongst Jake, even they're depressed. You know what I mean? And I don't make it seem like that it can't be true. Like I don't think it's far fetched to say that some of them that's in the in the music industry, that are rappers, some of them might even be the 1/3, preaching about through their music about fake niggas and bitch ass niggas. I'm just saying, if they're sincere and the Lord is really dealing with them, it could be possible that they could potentially be the 1/3. And this is Isaiah. Let me just bring out another precept. This is Isaiah chapter 29. This might be the last. Verse 16. It says, "Surely your turning of things upside down shall be esteemed as potter's clay. For shall the work say of him that made it, he made me not? Or shall the thing framed say of him that framed it, he had no understanding?" Yeah. And this society so backwards. It's like, at one point I remember, LGBTQ people, there was a thing in the early 2000s. I remember growing up to see that, where people didn't really feel comfortable about LGBTQ people, kissing in public. They didn't allow for gay marriage at one point, and that was an end time prophecy, that how they will allow for gay marriage. And at some point in the 21st century, that's what they started to push, And I remember when I was used to watch those documentaries about people talking about end times, they did mention one of those things would be gay marriage, And I think it was like on the History Channel, if I'm not mistaken. And the funny thing is, look, we're in this time where, gay marriage is a thing. And I think that became a thing since 2014, 2013, I don't know, one of those years, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, it started to become a thing. And now you got it to where the society's so backwards. You got a woman that's trying to chase and be in a career woman. They're not even trying to be housemaids, like cooking and cleaning and guiding the household. You know what I'm saying? They're trying to duck those responsibilities to work for a career, work for a company. And then when their dumbasses realize that HR don't give a fuck about them, and how HR like to stress them to do more work for the company to keep the corporation alive, sometimes you got it to where some women have to end up, going to the job, working on their periods, and they might come some days where they work there and they stinking and smelling, funky on the job, just to try to sacrifice for the company and try to keep the corporation going. And that goes to show you that this devil Esau is one dirty ass, simp for a fucking devil. Because it's like, you do all this shit to try to put women on a pedestal. That's how this whole world is in chaos. You got men running out their wits for women. This society will teach you that's the way, to try to be a simp, to try to gain her heart, when that's just going to get you played. And this society so messed up. I remember Elder Kazak said in one of his videos, which is 100% true, that you have to learn from a fucked up nigga on how to deal with a fucked up woman. And sometimes, the fucked up niggas that you learn from are bitch ass niggas. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes them be the same niggas that be, they may lay with this bitch or this or that bitch, And sometimes, like, if they can't lay with a good looking bitch for, and it's, they, let's say that, and they're desperate for sex, they will try to get with a fat, ugly bitch, or some woman that is like a 2-3, or 1, they'll try to get with for the meantime, before they get with a girl that looks good. But that's just to show you how degenerate, 2/3 really are. And that's another thing too. People, they value, like, let's say you giving into your temptations, right? Because that's another thing that ties up with what I was saying, like, about how desperate some niggas are, to where they will date a fat, ugly woman just to get their urges off. They will do it just to try to lose their virginity at an early age, so that they could get praised by these other niggas, And they'll also try to do that to increase their body count too. Because niggas will say like pussy is pussy, you know, just to show how desperate and thirsty they are. So yeah, it's just to show you that how you also get praised and highlighted when you give into your temptations. You know what I'm saying? That's what this world highlights, you know. And those temptations could be very fucking dirty. Like, it would even look like a temptation. It would just be just like something that just looks straight up nasty. Like, how the fuck can that be so tempting? Like, what the fuck? You know, that's what you question yourself, you know. But it's like when you're a nigga, it's like you give into any urge, you know. And then it's like when you have it to where now some of our people that don't give into certain temptations, like dealing with another man's woman, you know, like not committing adultery, speaking against that, you know, they'll have it to where you know, the grimy bitch ass niggas amongst our people, they'll make fun of you for that, you know. They'll try to persecute you, basically, like, you know. And when I say persecute you, I mean like not physically, of course, but like more of like they will socially do it, like a peer pressure thing, you know, make it seem like you're an outcast to them. Like, it's just so pathetic, honestly, if you ask me. And that's the thing about us and the truth. Is like, you know, we're in a world that's full of darkness and we're just walking with the light. These people are just full of darkness, man. You know, they're in gross darkness. So gross to where it's like the shit they do in their day-to-day life, you know, it just sometimes it might even just gross you out, you know. And the only hope you see is within people that maybe have not been exposed to this truth, or they probably heard about it, but they might have to just see the miracles for them to be, you know, sealed or whatever, or they might wake up at whatever time the Most High wants them to wake up, you know. It's just like if you want to deal with somebody in the world, you know, that at least have some sort of integrity, make sure you find the ones that have some sort of integrity, like the people, like brothers in this truth, you know. You know what I'm saying? And just don't get too interpersonal with them, that's all. Still always keep everybody at a distance, at a limit, even amongst brothers in the truth as well. Because usually when people get comfortable with you, that's where they see the room to try to disrespect you, you know, and they'll try you. So this is the book of Sirach, Ecclesiastes 27 verse 11. It says, the discourse of a godly man is always with wisdom, but a fool changeth as the moon. If thou be among the indiscreet, observe the time, but be continually among men of understanding. Exactly. So, you know, we're in that time where a lot of people are indiscreet. They don't have as much discretion as they used to at one point, and they're losing that over time because that's becoming more respected, you know, being disrespectful, being grimy, being savage, like, you know. So this is what our people are looking up to, and just average people in general. And the sad thing is about our people, like, they look up to, you know, celebrities that did all type of wickedness, sold their soul, and even before selling their soul, they did all type of crimes and all type of manners of wickedness before becoming famous. And Esau actually makes fucking people that are jailbird type of people famous, like, you know what I'm saying? Like drill artists, you know, having rap sheets of criminal activity on their rap sheet. Is like, that's highly respected and exalted. But you having a clean record, or you ain't put work out on the street, you're like a nobody. And then this is Ecclesiastes chapter 27 verse 13. It says, the discourse of fools is irksome, and their sport is the wantonness of sin. You know, and that's the thing about our people, you know, they sin like a fucking major professional sports player, athlete, you know what I'm saying? And then it's like they play two sides, you know. They really play two sides. They act like they're your friend, and then they go behind your back and, you know, expose you. And you will have no clue. That's why sometimes, like, I could really understand some people that, you know, end up basically giving up on life, you know, because it's like if you don't have the Spirit of the Lord with you, you're just susceptible to any let's say sort of like traumatic damage from these people, you know. This pretty much all stems from the curses of Deuteronomy 28 anyway, you know. You know, they say the more you do for people, the less you know, they appreciate you. And then it's like, even if they call you a friend, it's like you're gonna see that, you know, especially if they're in your place. And then you got it to where there's people that call themselves professionals that, you know, they be the most fucked up people them damn selves. You know, they're almost no different than niggas in the street, because like, shit, I'll say straight up, like, you got a lot of people that are so-called professionals that, you know, they ruin lives. They may be responsible for certain people committing suicide. You know, they're responsible for certain people going homeless. And it's like they live their life and don't give a fuck because it didn't happen to them. So, and then what makes it worse is that, you know, they're the same people that have this, you know, nice looking image on LinkedIn or, you know, whatever social media platform that they use to portray a professional image to look like they're appealing to the public eyes, you know, being appealing to managers, you know, recruiters in the company, so that they could look good to get hired. And then it's like, when you work with them or work for them, so they're the most grimiest pieces of shit that you could ever come across. And especially, let's say, if you got laid off from the job or terminated or whatever, and it was like a wrongful, and then they were cool with you while you work with them. They could be the same ones that act funny and move a certain type of way, you know, when you try to, you know, you thought you was cool with them, you know. This is why when people try to get too cool with you, try to get too close to you, you know, you always make sure there's a barrier between you and, you know, these everyday people that you see, you know. You be nice and respectful, but at the same time, like, just don't get too close in their circle and don't let them get too close to yours. Only use them when it's convenient for you, and, you know, and let them, I guess, use you when it's convenient for them. But just always make sure that they don't get too much out of you. And, you know, of course, you don't give too much to them, and don't expect too much from them either. In this world that we live in, people are fake, and you know, the word respect is, you know, highly looked down upon in these times, like, and that's what we always gotta keep in mind, that loyalty and respect is not highly upheld anymore. So with that, when we listen to edify, let's give all glory, praise, honor to Adonai, Yahweh, Bashem, Shalom, Yahweh, Shabbat, Shem, Kakadash, the honor to the apostles, the Ellsbury, Millstone, peace, citation, full elect, Shalom.